Good morning, everybody. Pam here with your Monday morning motivation. I'm just figuring out how to prop up my camera without it falling over. And kids are making a mess out here, but it's another gorgeous day in northern Alberta. So we are outside playing on the deck already, and yeah, it's pretty nice out. It's already starting to be too warm inside to be inside. So I'm just going to turn off my notifications, so if somebody decides to call me, then it doesn't interrupt my go live. Anyway, good morning. Cheers to an awesome new Monday. I hope you all had an awesome weekend, because we did. What did we do on Saturday? I can't even remember, but yesterday was so much fun. Saturday, I ended up running around the neighborhood getting egg cartons, because all of my egg cartons are gone, and people that I'm selling eggs to won't give them back, or it just doesn't work out that they give them back. So yeah, we did that, and then my husband was getting equipment ready to start haying, because we're going to be starting haying soon, but it's supposed to rain this week. So he's like, well, I'll just get it ready, and then Hey Julie, I'm so happy you popped on this morning. Good morning to you. So yeah, he was prepping the hay equipment. We got a hay vine this year, and he was getting the swather ready just in case the hay vine breaks down, because you never know with older equipment if it's going to work or not. I know our swather has broken down so many times, and he needs a new belt for it and everything again this year, just because if it's not one thing, it's another thing. So yeah, that was Saturday. And then yesterday, we invited some neighbors over, and we just had so much fun in the pool and had hot dogs and hamburgers. And I went for a little walk down our driveway here. We've got, along the fence line, we've got like tons of Saskatoon bushes. So I went and checked to see if they were ready, and they're not quite ready yet. They're still a little bit pink. So give the Saskatoons a couple more weeks to ripen, and then we'll be out there picking those to make delicious stuff, and to add it to my chia pudding and everything like that. I love Saskatoons and everything for like the next few months. Yes, definitely yummy, Julie. So anyway, I hope you all had a great week and a great weekend. And today is just another beautiful day. Just so happy it's not raining right now, because we've had so much rain this year, and not like I'm not grateful, because rain makes our crops grow. So definitely grateful for that, but we also need the heat for today. So yesterday and today we've gotten the heat, so appreciating that as much as possible, loving the sunshine. Today, for my Monday morning motivation topic, I chose 5 ways to use self-talk through failure. Now, I know myself, the last couple weeks, ever since the foam fest that I did, ever since then, I've been like, I'm done, I'm good, I don't need to do anything anymore, I don't need to work out. And yes, I still do. So I've been kind of slacking on my workouts. I've been sleeping in a little bit, which is horrible. This morning I slept till 7:30, and then my youngest woke up, and I didn't get anything done this morning. So that is unfortunate. I will have to make sure that I get up early for the rest of the week so that I can catch up. But that is the point, right? Is that we, if we do have little slip-ups now and then, we do catch up. And that's what makes the difference. When you fail, the natural go-to is negative self-talk. And I know myself, I've gone through this so much. Negative self-talk is so hindering to your progress, to your success, to completing your goals, to living life, right? The popular ones for myself, I was like, oh, well, how could I be so stupid? I'll never figure this out. I'll never be successful. Those are so, like, the ones that are so bad and hindering for me, and they used to hinder me so badly that I'd never thought that I would be successful in anything that I tried. Hey Patty, thanks for popping on, girl. I need a coffee break. So the difference between failure that leads to learning and self-knowledge, and the failure that is paralyzing, is rooted in the stories that we tell ourselves about what has happened, right? So situations that occur in our lives aren't about what actually happened, but it's the stories that we tell ourselves what happened that make or break our perception of what happened, right? Anyone that studies growth in any discipline, so whether you're an athlete, you're in a self-development, you're building an online business, you're an entrepreneur, anything, any discipline, knows the kind of stretching, so the kind of growth, the kind of expanding out your comfort zone that is necessary to build a new skill, requires certain tolerance for failure. You're going to fail. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. Failure is not fun or easy, but is exacerbated by negative self-talk. And that is where people not only fail, but then they quit. Failure is not a point to quit. It's a point to learn and grow and progress. Failures are stepping stones for whatever goals you're trying to achieve. Positive self-talk absolutely matters. Absolutely matters. Yes, love the shit out of that. Positive self-talk absolutely matters. And it's often used for athletes, entrepreneurs, people that are on the brink of exhaustion, on the brink of quitting. I know that when I did when I did that foam fest, I know it's only 5K, but it was the first big race or thing that I have ever done. And it was such a huge deal. And to have the support of my sister and my friend there saying, you know what, you got this, you're doing awesome. We're almost there. We're at this point, we're at the halfway point, we're at this point. That's all that matters, is that positive self-talk that keeps you going. You're doing so good. You're at this point, you're halfway through already. Oh my goodness. Who would have thought? And when I went down the water slide of death, I was like, nope, this isn't going to happen. And my friend's sitting there beside me, because there's 2 slides going side by side. And she's sitting beside me and she's like, you know what? This is another thing. It's going to be over like that. And you're going to just laugh about it and you're going to have so much fun. And that's what matters, is just the positivity. And so when it came to doing something like that stepped me completely out of my comfort zone, having her there was so integral to my success of completing that race. It's a race. It's not a race. The foam fest. So the positive self-talk also helps us when we're down, gives us the push to pick up where we left off, or even pick up the pieces when we think that we've completely come right apart. So what are the practices, these 5 ways to use self-talk through failure so that we can move through and beyond the failure, right? What are you guys doing? Oh, my kids are playing over there. They've got music going on and stuff. It's crazy. So I came across this article from success.com. Catherine Fusco is the lady's name that wrote it, and she really hit home for me with this one. And I really, between the foam fest and me building my business, I can really relate to her. So the first one is to have a failure mantra. I know it sounds weird, but stick with me. So negative self-talk is repetitive by nature, even though we don't consciously realize it. It's always going on in your head unless you can acknowledge the negative self-talk. And you're like, oh my goodness, that was a negative thing in my head. Let's write it down. Let's take a pen. Let's have a piece of paper. Let's write down this negative self-talk that seems to be hindering us. Whether it's, at 5 a.m, I've gotten up at 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and just something in my head was like, oh, well, this isn't going to work for you today. Yes, it is going to work for me today. I write it down, and then I also write down the powerful positive opposite. And I know lots of you have heard of me about this. Adrian Wesley talks about this, using the powerful positive opposite to cancel out negative self-talk. So repeating the powerful positive opposites is each one, writing them down. So write down your negative one, write down the powerful positive opposite, and use that powerful positive opposite as your failure mantra. So, and then either write them down, put them where they're visible, put them on sticky notes everywhere. I know I have sticky notes kind of all over the house. My husband thinks it's kind of annoying and I'm a nerd, but whatever. Or what I've also done, hey guys, no fighting, please. Thank you. I've also recorded myself telling myself, you are this, you are that. Like it's like an affirmation, like mantra, right? Affirmations. But the repetition is key. So if you're the negative self-talk, hey Karen, how's it going? If the negative self-talk keeps hitting you in the head and you write it down, and then you write down your powerful positive opposites every time you experience a negative thing, and you just, okay guys, stop, please. Just be good. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Karen. I kind of like this top. It's very pretty purple. What was I saying? All right. So yes, writing it down, or like I said, I record it, and I listen to my recording in the evenings. I listen to my recordings in the mornings. Like after my meditations, I do my affirmations, and that's where it's in my head, right? So if you're listening to it, and then if you have about like a day that's really not great, you can just put it on repeat on your phone and just listen to it all day. And that will give you the kick in the butt that you will need to pull yourself out of this funk, right? Number 2, practice reframing your self-talk out loud. So this is generally done with a friend, a friend that you trust will give you an honest answer. That is the key, because if you're gonna try and practice this with a friend that you know is just gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, that's fine, no, you're never like that, or anything like that, that's not gonna help you. You need some constructive criticism here, and you have to be willing to take it. So when your negative self-talk starts with, I always blank, or I never blank, run it by a friend. So sit down for coffee. If you have your negative self-talk written out, is probably the best, because then you can go through a few at a time. Just say, hey, you know, is this true? Like, do I always do this, or do I never do this? Or do you think I'm going to be successful? Sometimes it's going to hurt, but sometimes you can also take their feedback and incorporate it into your powerful positive opposites, right? So you can change it to be the opposite. Or you know what, maybe you think you always do something, but it's not true, you know? So is this true, or do I only do this sometimes, you know? So it's just about trying to figure out if you're just being so hard on yourself, because we're our own worst critics, or if you're not being, you don't need to be that hard on yourself, because you're actually not doing those things. Number 3, apply the 5 W's to your situation. If anybody's been through any sort of English schooling, the 5 W's, spinning. So if you have spinning out of control negativity, take a step back. Apply the 5 W's to your situation from a neutral, like journalistic viewpoint. So your who, what, when, why, and where. It gives you a sense of objectivity, and you can write it down just like you were if you're like researching an article, or like writing notes for a go live like I do, right? So just make sure that you are neutral. Don't put any emotion into this. Don't use adjectives that are emotional into your writing. And this leads to my 4th one. Use verbs, not adjectives. So after your assessment, think about future-oriented action steps for this failure. What are you going to do about it? It puts you in charge of your story and your situation from that neutral viewpoint. Be like, okay, well, what if my friend was experiencing this situation? Then you can write down your 5 W's and try and make it so you give your friend constructive advice and constructive action points of what you're going to do in the future. And lastly, number 5, this one's called Catastrophize and Question, which is like, think of the worst case scenario. Indulge that negative little voice for a moment. What's the worst thing that could happen? Right? What is the worst thing that could happen from this situation? But then what will I do about that worst case scenario? Because if you're always planning for the worst case scenario, which unfortunately I'm that kind of person, I'm always planning for the worst case scenario for some reason. It's just ingrained in my brain from youth. So what would you do about something that would happen at the worst case scenario? Say, worst case scenario about the 5K that I just did. What if I quit halfway through? Well, I still have to walk back to the beginning because it's not, you know, you don't run around in circles on a track. You're like going through obstacles and you're all over a field. I'd have to walk back. Well, may as well walk back through the path that I went, or the path that everybody else is going through, right? So it's just planning for the worst, hoping for the best, and keep going. Just keep going in any situation, whether you're failing, whether you're succeeding. And your success, it may not feel like a success, but little things add up to big successes. So when you celebrate your little wins, then your successes just come that much faster, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Let that sit for a minute. So anyway, so that was the 5 ways to use self-talk through failure. I know most of us use affirmations on a regular basis, but to use them specifically for your negative self-talk is just that much more powerful. So I hope that you all, the few, Julie, Patty, and Karen that popped on live, I hope you got some value out of this. If you're catching the replay, type in replay, type in, I'd like to know what your biggest takeaway from my Go Live is, because I would just absolutely love to know kind of what direction to go with my Go Lives, if that makes sense, because I do like to do a little research before I pop on live, because then I know I can bring you guys value. I'm not just stumbling around. I have a direction. That's why I write notes. But it's also good for me to know, like, what do you struggle with? You know, so if you took, you know, if your biggest takeaway was like practicing your reframing with a friend, then maybe I can kind of go in that direction. If you're struggling with other things, I can go in that direction. Because I want to make sure that I am bringing you the best content for your Monday morning motivation, and that you guys can take away some awesome value from my Go Lives. So on that note, I hope you all have an awesome, fantastic, friggin' kick-ass week, because I know I am, because it's beautiful out and it's gonna be a great day and it's gonna be a great week, and that's just the way it is. Hi, Courtney. Thanks for popping on, buddy. I am doing good. You're doing good? I'm doing good too. Make sure and watch the replay, because I'm just signing off, but definitely watch the replay so that you can catch all the value that I just dropped to everybody else. I will, on that note, I'm going to sign off. So thank you, and I appreciate and love you all for watching my Go Lives and supporting my journey. Next week, I have a little bit of news, so I'm going a little long today. So next week I'll drop some news. I hope you guys pop on for that one. Hey, watch your head, please. Yeah, sorry. The barbecue's right behind me and she's walking around it. So anyway, have a great week. Have a great day. I will see you guys next week. Same page, same time, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I will bring you guys awesome value. Thank you. Bye.